Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is 𝐋𝔬𝔠𝔥 and this is my booktube where I talk about all things bookish and book reviews and book hauls and books. So today's video is going to be a spoiler-free review on 𝐋𝔬𝔠𝔥'𝔰. In this video I'm going to talk about what this book is about, who the target audience is, what I liked about it, what I disliked about it, and what I recommend it. So let's get started. 𝐋𝔬𝔠𝔥'𝔰 is a new adult dark horror romance that follows two main characters, Raylan and Leon. Raylan is actually a paranormal investigator. She actually has a YouTube channel devoted to paranormal investigations and ghost hunting. And one day she meets Leon, who is in fact a demon, and they meet and they have some conversation, but you know, it's not too in-depth or anything like that. So she accidentally summons him one day. He has this reputation for being this deadly demon who basically kills anything that summons him. As you can probably tell, it's a dark romance, so he doesn't kill her, he falls for her and vice versa. And so he ends up wanting to protect her by all means necessary. 𝐋𝔬𝔠𝔥'𝔰 is the first book in what will end up being a trilogy. The author does note that the trilogy will be interconnected standalones, but so far this is the only book that's been published. So I think it's important to give you guys a heads up as far as content warnings. I'm just going to list them out as the author does, since I don't have them memorized. The content and trigger warnings are as follows. Graphic sexual scenes, violence, kink fetish content, horror elements, and depictions of hard kink edge play. Kinks and fetishes within include consensual non-consent, breath play / choking, blood play, spit, needle play, body modification fetish, pain play, fear play, public play, bondage, restraint, spanking, and impact play. That's a lot of play, y'all. So I read that content warning going in, and honestly, I expected it to be a little bit darker, but we'll get into that in a minute. The target audience for this is definitely adults who are into dark romance. I wouldn't suggest just anyone picking this up. It's definitely, if you like the subgenre of dark romance, you'll probably like this. So let's talk about what I liked about it. I'll start off by saying that I loved 80% of this book. It was incredibly spooky and atmospheric. And up until a certain point, I was really convinced that this was going to be a 5-star read for me, but I'll get to why it wasn't in a minute. I also liked that it was a I hate everyone but you. I really liked that trope. I loved Raylan. I liked how relatable she was. I also really liked that she ran a YouTube channel. I just found that really cool. She was also really clumsy, and I liked how she didn't lie to herself when it came to her deepest, darkest desires. And it's a given that I loved Leon, because I wouldn't have been able to read this book if I hadn't liked him. I liked him. I also really like Zane, who is one of Leon's really, really good friends. Like lifetime friends. Demon friends. He's a demon too. I have a feeling that the next book is going to follow Zane. So yeah, overall, what I liked about it is it's super, super spooky and atmospheric, and I was obsessed, to say the least. However, let's talk about what I didn't like about it, because it's significant. The last 100 or so pages, I didn't really care for. Honestly, it's not that I didn't care for. I just actually didn't like the last 100 or so pages. And here's why. I absolutely hated her pet name. Like, normally, it's not an issue if there is a pet name that I don't really care for, because it's normally not said all the time, but he ended up calling her baby girl, which is fine. I don't really like that pet name. I don't really care for it at all, but it was said so much that I got tired of reading the words baby girl. Like, I don't like that pet name to begin with, but as much as it was said, I wanted to just throw the book in the fire. Just light a fire and just throw it in there, because that's how much it was annoying me. It was annoying the shit out of me. And another reason this book kind of took a tank is because I felt like he was acting more like a freaking angel than a demon. He was so freaking nice to her. He was just too nice. There was not enough flaws, honestly. He was freaking perfect. And there's a reason I like dark romance, and I feel like it's because there's not a ton of that fluffy, ooey gooey, feel good, mushy, I love you so much, like, romance in it. And there was so much in this book, and it just didn't feel like a dark romance towards the end. It felt like just a normal, I don't know. Not that I don't like heartwarming stuff. I do. I just prefer the angsty, grumpy sunshine kind of vibes. And obviously, reading an enemies to lovers, you don't expect them to they have to become lovers at some point, right? But there is a level of that ooey gooey sweet love that there's like a fine line, okay? Fine line. And this book just like jumps way past the line. Fine line. And I don't know. So yeah, he was supposed to be a demon, acting like an angel, and honestly, the content warnings, I feel like, which I think they're good, they're valid content warnings, 100% valid, but I did expect it to be a little bit darker. I mean, I think what made it dark was like the spookiness, and the fact that he is a demon, but the kinks and everything like that, that wasn't necessarily dark to me. That was just their kinks. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't see kinks as being dark, if that makes sense. I just see them as being kinks. But maybe not. I mean, I don't even know if I agree with what I just said. So the last thing that kind of took this book down from being a freaking all-time favorite to it was really good, I loved it, but it's not my favorite, is this event that happens towards the end of the book. And Raylan does something that I was just like, I just thought it was so stupid, honestly. I mean, the event itself wasn't stupid, but how do I say this without spoiling anything? The event itself was not stupid, but it was the facts surrounding the event that I'm like, I understand I'm reading a fictional book, but I need the things to be in it to be somewhat believable, if that makes sense. I understand he's a demon and she's having sex with a demon and what all that, and that's not obviously ever going to happen. That's not believable. But the events in the book still need to align with facts and things that make sense. I'm probably not saying this right because I don't want to spoil anything, but there was just something that happened that I was like, okay, like that would really ever happen. Obviously, this is never going to happen. I don't know. I'm having a hard time explaining this, but if you've read the book, you probably know what I'm referring to. It's what everything is leading up to, basically. It's like what the plot is leading up to. And I just think the way it went down was just so easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and I don't know. I needed there to be a little bit more struggle. I was just rolling my eyes the whole time. So yeah, a lot of what I loved about this was consistent to a certain point, and then it just I don't know. It wasn't that bad, honestly. I'm being dramatic. So you're probably wanting to know, do I recommend it? I actually do. I know I just complained a lot, but I really did love this book. The Halloween spooky vibes that it gives off is like 10 out of 10. I couldn't put this down. And I definitely still recommend it because I know the things that bothered me are probably not going to bother everybody. And I think it was a legitimately good book. It just unfortunately ended up having too many of my pet peeves. I think it is a 4-star for me, which is still really, really good. It would have been an incredible 5-star if it hadn't been for the repetitive baby girl, like too much baby girl. And the big event that happened, if that had been a little bit, I don't know, different. And if Leon had just been a little less of a, if she had just been a little bit less wrapped around his finger, I think. So now I'm going to share some of my favorite quotes. So this is Raylan talking, and she says, "Embarrassing that a pair of bright eyes and a deep voice could make my vow to stop being attracted to assholes go flying out the window." I read that and I was like, that's funny. And then there's this quote talking about the call of the void. It says, "In French, there's a phrase for the random urge to jump from high places, the irrational desire to swerve into traffic despite imminent destruction." I'm not going to say it in what it says in French because I'm just going to butcher it, but it says, "The call of the void. Those sudden feral impulses tend to be shoved away immediately, but humans still experience them. What if you jumped? What if you touched the fire? What if? When I looked at him staring at me, the void called, what if?" So I really liked this quote because I didn't know there was a term for that. I actually didn't know that was a thing. So this was a very informative quote. I mean, I didn't actually fact check it, so I probably look stupid if that's not a thing. But I'm pretty sure it's a thing. The call to the void. I thought that was so interesting because does anyone else do that? Or do I need help? Because I'm like outing myself right now. Please tell me I'm not the only one who's ever done that. Like, I used to do it when I was little, riding my bike. I used to think, oh, what if I just whoop, whoop. Okay. I'm okay, I swear, you guys. I'm okay. Maybe I'll go get checked out after this. I don't know. Anyways. So the next quote I'm going to share with you guys is kind of just an example of why I love this book so much. So this is Raylan talking, and she says, "With time to spare before my next class, I gave in and pulled out my camera. Everything from the bell tower above the library to the low, crooked stone walls that boxed in the hedges carried a pleasing aesthetic from behind my lens. The damp greenery, the gothic drama of it all. I felt as if I had stepped into a grim fairy tale, right back into my childhood fairy kingdom." I read that and I don't know, it just gave me good vibes. So yeah, those are just a couple of quotes that I really liked. I'm trying to think if there's anything I forgot. There probably is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and set that reminder button for future videos. And I'll see you guys later with some more book reviews, as well as I want to do a bookshelf tour. So look forward to that, and I'll see you guys later.